Welcome back to the Go Shout Love podcast. I'm Josh Veach, and on behalf of our team, we are grateful that you've let us into your ears today and hopefully the mission and work that we're doing into your heart. If you aren't familiar with the work that we do, each month we are telling the story of kids on rare medical journeys and helping raise funds to meet tangible needs that these families have that fall outside of what is covered by insurance. This month, we're honored to shout love for an amazing gal from South Carolina named Everly. I encourage you to head over to our website, which is goshout.love, where you can learn more about Everly and her family. Any purchase you make from our shop in September will go towards the purchase of a safe sleep bed for Everly. It's our goal to use this space, our podcast, to give you an opportunity to connect with our featured families on a deeper level and to also cover a variety of topics from different voices that overlap with families on rare medical journeys. But in addition to that, we want to introduce you to our team, a small group of people who are working passionately to tell the stories of these awesome kids and then rally support so that these families can feel the love they deserve. We've already had a couple team member chats. You can hear from our founder, Kristen Estock, in episode 21, as well as a chat with myself and my wife, Rochelle, in episode 23. In today's episode, you get to meet Jessica Santo. She's such a blessing to our team and the families that we get to meet. I really can't say enough about the passion she brings in shouting love for these families, and I really hope you enjoy getting to meet her. Here's my chat with Jessica. Hey, Jess.
Hey.
Welcome back on the podcast.
Thanks. Round two. So if you're listening to this, we say round two, but this is round two for you. This is round one for you, the listener. We actually recorded this back in June when Jess was in town in Springfield, where I am visiting Lana. And based on some schedule changes with other podcast guests, we didn't get her episode into the queue at the right time. And now, I think at that time you were a mom of two. You had a house for sale. And it was summer and you had a trip coming up, and now that trip is no longer accurate. Your house has sold and you are a mom of... Well, I 3.
You're a mom of 3.
I'm pregnant.
Congratulations.
Thanks. We're excited. We're due in March. It's been a roller coaster of emotions, but we are excited. It's crazy. We once thought our family was going to be done with 2 kids, and now the thought of only having 2 children makes absolutely no sense. And we are over the moon excited and very anxious to meet this baby.
Yeah,
and we're not finding out what we're having, which is, we found out with Lucy and Calvin. So this has been hard and it is not easy, but everyone says it's worth the wait, and the surprise is just the best thing ever. So
yeah, that's cool. I wish I think I could have done it. I don't think Rochelle, she's too much of a planner. I tried to pitch to her actually that we should only buy like gender neutral everything. Like, I'm a classics person, so colors that are just very neutral and stuff like that. And she just wasn't on board with that, which I get. No. It's fine. It's kind of a big deal, I guess,
We have one more appointment. So we had our genetic testing done, which plug for genetic testing. You should all do that, especially with Go Shout Love and everything. And then we have our big anatomy scans. We just have to get through one more appointment, and then we won't have any temptation to know. So,
that's awesome. That's super exciting.
We'll get it done.
And due date is March-ish, right?
March 22nd.
Okay, so late.
Yeah,
March.
I live in a tiny, tiny town in Nebraska, and they've stopped delivering babies, so we are traveling 2 hours.
Oh man, is that scary?
It would be terrifying if I were Tamika, who had her baby in the car,
right.
Our Go Shout Love mama. Or if it was my first child. That's my third, and I'm not scared at all. So it'll be great.
That's exciting. Well, since we're on the topic of family, if people haven't connected with you yet or don't know you, tell us about Jessica, the wife, the mom, and all of that good stuff. Introduce us to your family.
Okay, well, I have Tony Santo as my husband. We've been married this October. It will be 8 years. We live in a tiny town in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska, Falls City, Nebraska to be exact. And we have 2 kids, Lucy, Calvin, a big golden doodle named Wrigley, named after the Cubs. Got to get that plug in there.
Sadly.
And then, we've got our baby on the way. I, as well as working with Go Shout Love, I'm a professional photographer in my area. I specialize in seniors and families, lifestyle shoots. I shoot a lot of bloggers and influencers and lots of kids. I photograph a lot of kids. I photograph all our Go Shout Love kids, which is amazing. And I cherish that work so much. So I'm very busy and at times a little overwhelmed, but it's all good, overwhelmed feelings. So, that's me in a nutshell, basically.
Awesome. Well, we're going to get to your Go Shout Love involvement and photography in a little bit. But before we do that, I have kind of a question that hopefully caused you to think a little bit.
Great.
So when we first relaunched back in July of last year of 18, our first design back had the statement, beauty in every story, with the idea that it's a statement that, from our standpoint as a team, we were thinking about those who had supported Go Shout Love in the first season and trying to kind of rally them back and excite them about what was coming, but to also honor them and that there's beauty in their story, rare journey or otherwise. And so as you think about your life in any phase, in any stage, and you think of your story, what would you say is the beauty in your story?
Oh man, that is a think question. The beauty in my story. Wow. I think the first thing that comes to mind is just the way I have, is the word persevered. Is that the right word I think I'm thinking of? I've been through a lot in my life. And I just think that being an open book about what I've been through and how I've shifted my thinking in my life to do positive things with my work, I think is the beauty in my story. I mean, not to get too in depth with it, but I haven't had a relationship with my biological dad for 15 years. I, like a lot of women in the country, I went through an assault in college. There's just lots of big hurdles that I've went through in my life that a lot of people might not have known how to navigate through. But with my faith and finding an amazing man like Tony, I've been able to kind of shift my perspective on life and really kind of twist it to help serve other people. And that's always kind of been, that's the purpose of my whole life, whether it be my husband or my kids or you and the Go Shout Love family, our Go Shout Love families, period. But everything I do, I want it to, I really genuinely want it to affect people in a positive way. Mm-hmm. So I think that that's beauty in my story.
Yeah. So it's safe to say that maybe some of those things have shaped you, but not defined you.
Oh, for sure. And they still, I would never, ever say that those things that I went through define me ever. They stick with me. They're mm-hmm. always with me in the back of my head. But they're also kind of reminders. They ground me in what I'm going through. Like today, I have 2 amazing kids who I sent off to school, and I've got a great husband. And it just gives me reminders of what I personally myself have made my life out to be, even though I've had kind of crazy things in my story.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
So tell us, currently you are kind of our family relations gal for Go Shout Love, which means mm-hmm. you're kind of the right hand to our families leading up to their month of being featured, as well as during their month and kind of staying connected to them. But you also have done a lot of other things, including photography, which has been huge in helping tell the stories of our kiddos. Tell us a little bit about how you were introduced to Go Shout Love and your original involvement.
It's kind of a fun story. So it relates to my photography. I was shooting a wedding. I got to know the bride, Marcella, and she said, "Hey, there is this girl in my wedding party, my maid of honor. She is thinking about doing something to make a difference for kids. I think that you two would really connect." I can't remember exactly why Marcella thought we would have a connection, but she asked me. who at the time was starting to rally a big fundraiser auction for Nella, which she's told us all about in her past podcast. But I kind of jumped on board and was behind the scenes helping her kind of navigate that. And yeah, so I just have kind of always been on the back burner with Kristen's big ideas and helping her kind of, how are we going to do this? And shift through the beginning of Go Shout Love. And then she asked me to come on and really help her. And that's when we started. And I think our first kiddo was it Silas? It's been so long ago. All the Cool Kids Raise Awareness t-shirt. I jumped on board with her, and it's just been the best journey since. So it was a good wedding to photograph.
Heck yeah.
Next, all you guys.
Yeah. And so far, what's been a high point and a low point in your journey with Go Shout Love?
I think that's an easy answer for me, and it's actually the high and the low are kind of the same thing, and that's with when we featured a little guy named Lennon who he passed away about 2 days after he was born. But I was there in the delivery room when he was born, taking photos for the family, and I stayed with the family until he passed. And I gave the family some amazing photos of Lennon after he passed. I say it was the happiest moment of Go Shout Love for me, just because I was honored to experience Lennon and give this family this amazing gift of photography. It was honestly just an honor to know that little boy and hold him, because not a lot of people got to know him because he was only here for 2 days. And it's also the lowest point because it was the hardest thing I've ever been through in my whole life, watching him with his family as he passed away. But there's so much beauty in those memories, and there's images in my head that I can't shake, but they're both happy and sad. But by far, Lennon and the Meyer family is the family who just kind of shines out to me through all of our Go Shout Love experience.
Yeah. What's the, in general, what's the favorite part of what you do? What do you enjoy the most?
Well, obviously I enjoy meeting all the families. The kids are just, they're so happy with everything they're going. I mean, I think you would agree with that. With everything that they're going through, they're just happy kids, and it's refreshing to see that. And I love meeting them. I love seeing them. I absolutely love my team members, you included.
Me included?
Yes, I do. You guys are my family, and I absolutely love this mission, and every aspect of it is fun. It is challenging at times, especially being pregnant. That's kind of been a weird thing to kind of swim through, as I'm only 14, 15 weeks pregnant, and now is the time where our pregnancy, we're kind of diving into the genetics of it all and making sure there's no abnormalities. And you keep hearing the doctors say that, oh, I'm sure everything's fine. But for our Go Shout Love families, there was a cause for concern. And so it's been kind of a weird thing to go through, knowing that, you've got all of these amazing relationships with all of these families on these rare journeys. And then that could be you. But I also have a lot of strength from that too, because
right.
The families that we talk to, I would say all of them say they wouldn't really change anything about their kid. They love their child. So I pull strength from them, knowing that if that's something that God was going to give me on my plate, then I would be just fine, because these Go Shout Love moms and dads love their children, and their lives are happy and fulfilled. And kind of went off on a side there, but
no, that was actually one of the questions I was going to ask, because I know, Milo, our youngest, we found out that we were pregnant with him, like, as we were still behind the scenes doing all the behind the scenes of getting Go Shout Love relaunched. And so every time we would meet a family and have those really hard conversations, it was while Rochelle was pregnant. And it was, I resonated. I understand exactly where you're coming from, because I thought about things that otherwise I wouldn't have thought about, of potentials and, fears. But then I also had a peace that I would not have had otherwise as well, because the parents and the families that we meet are so courageous and just genuine. Like, they have genuinely overcome and not been defined by difficult situations. And so, a lot of them will say, they'll talk about, and they don't even like the word, they don't even like to be called brave or courageous or whatever. They just they're just dealing with what's in front of them. And they talk about when, someone says to them, I couldn't do what you're doing.
Yeah.
A lot of them will say, yes, you could. You don't think you can, but when you're in it, you do what you have to do. And I think hearing them say that was kind of, yes, other things came into my mind that otherwise wouldn't have been there if we weren't, kind of running Go Shout Love. But there was this piece that came too that was kind of like what you said, like, no matter what happens and what comes, we're going to make it. Like, it'll be okay. So yeah, I totally get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So you've been involved with Go Shout Love pretty much from the beginning. So you've met a lot of families, and you've heard a lot of stories, and you've seen a lot of t-shirt designs.
Yeah.
What has been your favorite t-shirt so far? And let's do a early days Go Shout Love, and then a Go Shout Love 2.0, since we've relaunched just over a year ago.
Holy buckets. Early days. Oh, I'm trying to, early days. I love the See Love shirt for Jude. I love the first shirt that we did, All the Cool Kids Raise Awareness, for Silas. I just think that saying All the Cool Kids Raise Awareness is so impactful and so powerful and so easy to think about. And I feel like that's our whole mission of Go Shout Love, is to raise awareness for these kids.
Well, and was that design changed to make a difference? All the Cool Kids, because I think I have two versions of that one.
I just had it on this morning.
I wore mine yesterday. I think All the Cool Kids Make a Difference is what mine says.
I think, because didn't we redesign that the second? Did we redesign it the second time around? We didn't.
Not. I think it was a change at that time. I think because we got both shirts at that time. I think, but either way, they're both statements are awesome.
Yeah, there's so many shirts.
I know.
I thought it was raising. All the Cool Kids Make a Difference. Maybe that's what it did say. Geez, that's not professional.
It's both. I think it started as Raise Awareness, and then I think it was Make a Difference. But they're both solid.
Yeah, and that statement is huge.
Yep.
Okay, so 2.0. It's weird. So they're both blue shirts. I don't know why I'm obsessed with our blue shirts, but the sloth, I loved that sloth for Sophia. Mm-hmm. Hang On to Hope. I love that one. And I also love Emily's shirt, the Be and See the Good with the sun, the sunshine. I just think that Be and See the Good is such a powerful statement again, and something that our country right now is holding on to. And I don't know. I just love that. So I would say those two for 2.0, and See Love and All the Cool Kids for the first one.
Yeah. Awesome.
Which one was your favorite?
Oh man, I've gone back and forth.
I think I know which one you're gonna say.
I really think. What do you think I'm gonna say?
The Texas one. Magic.
Yes.
Being alive.
Enjoy the magic of being alive. Yes, that is one of my favorites. I actually, the other day, Rochelle and I were talking about our favorites, and I was like, "That one's one of my favorites," and I thought I had forgotten to get one, and then I just misplaced it, and I actually did have one, so I was really excited when I found that the other day. I think I actually wore it on our last trip. Yeah, because that happened to you with the sloth shirt.
With the sloth shirt, right. And then I found it in Tony's laundry.
Yeah, I really like the "Different is Never Less."
Oh yeah,
shirt that we did in November of last year, inspired by Florence. Mm-hmm. And I think it to me, it's similar to what you were talking about with the All the Cool Kids design. It's that statement is just, in my opinion, it's just another way to summarize the work that we're doing. Like, that's one of those sentences that I think you could put by what we're talking, like all the work that we do. That's one of the points we're trying to drive home, is that
right,
regardless of story or situation, that these kids that have different things going on, they're not less. They're awesome, and they are valued. And so I think that one, oh man. I also really like, I don't know, I probably like fall into this like current bias, like whatever's top of mind, but this month's, like you mentioned, the see and be the good. And then I really liked the Rooted Hope, the tree design of last month.
We didn't have a saying in that.
Yeah, it was just this simple, but the trunk is the DNA, kind of like a DNA strand. And I really liked that one too. So I don't know. And I got a couple messages on that one too from subscribers that talked about how it was one of their favorites. So
that's cool.
It's kind of, I don't know. But yeah, I'm a solid color tees person unless I'm wearing a Go Shout Love shirt. And so that's pretty much my whole closet. In fact, I'm wearing a solid gray tee, and I
can't believe you're not wearing a Go Shout Love. If I was a guy and wore t-shirts every day, I would be set for life. I have so many t-shirts.
I do, but I also, because I'm a blank solid tee person, this gray shirt that I'm wearing today, I literally have like 15 of them in my drawer. My wife makes fun of me all the time. And so sometimes just to get a reaction.
That's how I am with black leggings. I wear black leggings every single day.
And flannel. When you travel, when I was looking for you in the airport the other day and you were just like wearing a hoodie, and I was like, I almost didn't see you. Like, I didn't recognize you because I was looking for the pattern. But yeah, I sometimes in the morning will ask Rochelle if this looks okay, and it's like literally the exact same thing I wore the last 2 days because it's a solid gray t-shirt, and she just rolls her eyes. And
it's just so easy.
Yeah. So you've had to put up with myself and Seth quite a bit on trips. So outside of the family Go Shout Love side, what has been a favorite travel related memory that you have?
Oh, geez. The memories, the things I could say, because we have a good time. Are you talking outside of the family, like Go Shout Love family, or do you want a memory of like me, you, and Seth and the team kind of thing?
Yes, a Go Shout Love travel, but outside of the family.
So a memory involving the Go Shout Love team. It involves Kristen, and if she's listening to this, she's having a heart attack because she doesn't like it when people talk about her. But it's when we went to California. You were actually supposed to go on that trip.
Yes.
And then
Rochelle broke her leg. Yes. She broke her leg pretty much exactly 1 week before I was supposed to be boarding the plane. And so I was texting you guys from the emergency room like, hey, Kristen, can you take my spot in California in 1 week? Yeah.
Can you go from Pittsburgh to LA?
Yeah. Just got to jump a couple time zones. No worries.
Yeah. So the LA trip was a lot of fun. There was one night in particular where Seth and Kristen and I went to dinner, and then we came back to our Airbnb, which was very, very close to the beach. And we went and sat on the beach for which seemed to be forever. And we just sat there in the dark by ourselves on the beach, and we talked about just life, and we talked about things that each of us had been through. We talked about Go Shout Love families. We each talked about the kids that have impacted us the most, the heartache in it and the beauty in it. And it was just one of those really cool memories that you think about having with your friends, just sitting on a beach in California and talking. And it really meant a lot to me. And it kind of made me realize how important Seth and Kristen and you and Paige and Rochelle are. And I was very thankful for that night, and I love it. It's one of my best memories. And then I feel like all of our car rides are always fun because especially in the beginning when we were all just getting to know each other and our personalities started to sort of creep out, your real personalities, because a lot of us were strangers when we first dove into this, and we traveled. Where was the first place we traveled? Boston?
Yeah. Right.
when we get in a car together, and here I am like, okay, Jessica, don't say something stupid, but that's all I do sometimes is open my mouth and the craziest stuff comes out. And it happened, and it was just nice to know that we can just be ourselves around each other and fully be ourselves and just know that it's good.
Yeah, that's been fun.
What about you? What's your favorite memory?
Oh man, I think it's just been. I would echo kind of what you said. Obviously, I missed out on I haven't been able to do anything cool like sit on the beach, but
you missed a lot of trips there for a minute.
What's that?
You missed a lot of trips there for a minute.
Yeah,
you had a lot going on.
Yep. But I think because of some of those things that we had been going on, what was really cool for me, and it has been really valuable to me, are just those moments to just talk and kind of been in the life season that we've been in. It's just been really chaotic and even because I'm self-employed, I spend a lot of time working from home and working from coffee shops, and I talk with people there and I connect with people, but just between my work and life stage and the chaos of home, like all good chaos, I don't get the opportunity to just be and talk life and do that. And so I think that's been one of the things that I've enjoyed the most, like you said, is just those conversations of being able to walk through life together and talk through different challenges we're facing, completely unrelated to Go Shout Love. But
it reminds me of when we were at the airport the last time you and I traveled, and we traveled alone. And we were at the airport, and we started talking about my dad and that relationship with him. And I don't talk about that with a lot of people, but it's nice. It was nice to sit down and like really dive in. And you talked a lot about some things that have gone on in your family, and it was just like, it was good. And it just feels good to have a friend to talk to like that.
There's a certain level of like, it's therapeutic almost. It's
well, and what we all go through together, and the stories that we hear, and doing it month after month, it can get heavy. And so we really do depend on each other to kind of lighten situations at times and talk through everything.
Yeah. I really, man, if I could wave a magic wand, and if you're listening and you happen to be a business owner that would be interested in being a Go Shout Love sponsor or marketing partner, like listen in closely, because this is where you could wave that magic wand for us. But I would really love for our whole team to be able, we kind of, sometimes we get to travel, sometimes we don't. And I think there's so much value in getting to see those families, and also the continuity that's built and relationships that's built internally with our team. I wish, you've only gotten to meet Paige, I think, one time. And is that right? Just once? Or maybe, just once. Because when you came to Springfield, she was in France.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
Yeah, and and then, even Kristen. Like, I think I've only met Kristen, like seen Kristen in person twice.
That's crazy.
I know, and I just wish we could all get together more often. But it's expensive, and it's hard to sometimes make those calls in such a way that it's not going to take away from the work we're trying to do with families. So anyway, wealthy business owner or just wealthy individual that wants to make a difference, that's an opportunity for you. Yes. Reach out. Being able to meet the team and talk, just share life together has been huge for me. But I want to shift gears. You talked about being a photographer, and I just want to touch on that kind of side of your life. Like, tell us about that, how you got into photography, how long you've been doing it, and all that good stuff.
It is a busy loaded question. Photography it's like my, now fourth child. That is so weird to say. I still can't believe we're having another baby. It's so awesome. I got into photography 12 years ago. I started when my nephew was born. I went to school undergrad for studio art, had no idea what I was going to do with it. I knew I needed to do something creatively in my life. And then my nephew was born. I picked up a camera, and then I did a lot of free sessions. So if you're an aspiring photographer, just take it easy on yourself. And no, it takes a long time to get established.
Sure.
It's been 12 years and I feel like I can finally say that I don't have to go out and beg for people to let me take their pictures.
Mm-hmm.
But I did that. I did it for a long time.
The hustle of the startup, right?
Oh man. And then in the middle of a startup, here comes social media. So it's like a whole different ballgame. Social media, I still can't keep up with social media. Like the seniors I try to market, everyone says I need to do Snapchat, and now there's this new TikTok thing. Like, I'm not lip singing to something. I'm not doing that, but it's all.
Is that what that is? Like, this is going to really age me, but I've seen an ad for it and I'm like, that's for kids.
No, weren't you there when, I don't think you were in the conversation really, but Case's sisters who.
Oh, I remember them mentioning that. Yeah. Do you TikTok or whatever?
The future Go Shout Love family. You guys haven't met them yet, but Case's sisters are obsessed with this TikTok thing, and it's where you face the camera towards you, and then you like lip sync or talk along. I don't know. We probably sound so old, but
you just got to embrace it, Jess. We are what we are.
Social media is just hard, but I do a lot of things in my photography. Like I said at the beginning, to make a difference, and one of those big things is, well, I have two big things, but one of the big things is my role model team. And every year you can apply to be a role model with Jessica Santo Photography. And it's a group of seniors. Right now it's just senior girls. Might be introducing guys into it, but I travel with the team. So it gets a little tricky if we do that. But what we do is we spend their senior year doing community service projects and making a difference. Last year we installed a little free pantry in our community. That's just it's a little cabinet on our main stone street where people can come and drop off canned goods, non-perishable food items for our community to take as they need it. Mm-hmm. This year, my new Go Shout Love team, we flew to Chicago. We met a Go Shout Love family, and we spent the day with them. And we also volunteered at a soup kitchen. And that was incredible. It's just my goal to have these senior girls in my community in rural Nebraska be exposed to ways that they can make a difference outside of the confines of our cornfields. I want them to know that just because you live in a rural community doesn't mean you can't make a difference globally even. Go Shout Love is a perfect example of that. So that's a huge mission in the bubble of my photography is my role model program. I also do a senior click day where there's one day a year. It's actually coming up in October where anybody in the Falls City area who's a senior can come get their senior photos taken for free. Just because I believe senior photos are a luxury. They're expensive. And I also feel like everyone deserves to have those awesome yearbook photos. So that's another thing I like to do with my photography. But I want my photography to be a source of income for my family. It is my career, but I also want to, donate my time and my work to better the community that I live in. So that's my photography in a nutshell. Seniors are by far my favorite thing to photograph. I would love to just specialize in seniors. But I have too many adorable kids in my life to do that. So I have a lot of little kids I have to capture, which is fun. I really love it.
I think you mentioned that you met Kristen through shooting a wedding, but I think you've kind of talked about how you try to steer away from weddings. You're more selective with weddings now, yeah?
I have 2 coming up, and then that will be it until that will be it. That will be it.
You're never doing another wedding.
Hard. Yeah. They're so hard. And you have no idea how difficult, even just the planning of a wedding and the pressure of getting your shots right and not missing anything. And then after the wedding, you've got these tiny little square memory cards. No one can see that. And it's your responsibility to not lose that memory card, to make sure it's not damaged, get it in your computer, everything edited, not have your computer shut down and lose everything. It's hard.
There are no reshoots.
No. And I've heard horror stories for photographers on how that it's so easy to happen.
Yeah.
The one photographer I heard of, I can't remember who was telling me this. They literally, the memory card dropped out of their bag when they were headed home or something. And
oh my gosh.
and I just can't, the pressure. And plus I'm just getting old and I'm tired. And I'm about to add a third child. So
you don't have the patience to deal with these young brides. Is that what you're saying?
Well, the brides are, I would say 8 times out of 10, the brides are fantastic. The moms can be they're nervous. They're nervous. The grooms are nervous. The grooms don't want their photos taken. It's just a lot. The wedding day has a lot of emotion.
Yeah.
And then after, when you could tell a bride 10,000 times, it'll take about up to a month to 3 months to have your photos fully delivered to you. You could tell them that 1,000,000 times. And then 3 days after their wedding, can I see any of the photos yet?
You're supposed to be on your honeymoon. Quit thinking about your photos.
I used to take a ton of weddings on, and now I have 2 coming up. And they're just too much for me anymore.
Oh yeah, I can't imagine. Well, then you have to find this balance of documenting the show or the event, but not being a part of the event. Like,
yeah,
you're trying to not be noticed. You're trying to, but man, yeah, I don't blame you.
Nothing is worse than doing a Catholic wedding. Nothing against, I'm Catholic. It's nothing against that. It's the required shots the bride wants you to get, and then the little old woman who's in charge of weddings at the church who has a whole list of rules for you as a photographer.
Yeah.
Like and then you're like, okay, who do I make mad?
Yeah.
God and this little itty bitty woman, or the bride? And you never make the bride mad. So you just break the rules and you pray she's not going to attack you.
Right. The itty bitty woman with the wrath of God.
They're always itty bitty. Itty bitty little old Catholic women are a little bit nutty at ceremonies.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who that woman would be in our community. I hope she's not listening. I don't know who it would be, but yeah, they're great. They like their rules.
Yeah, a lot of pressure for sure. Before we wrap up, I want to shift to your kids a little bit. This is one of the questions that we often ask our parents, our Go Shout Love families. Is what have your kids taught you? What have you learned from your kids?
You're asking a hormonal pregnant woman that? Oh, man. I get so emotional when I talk about my kids. Lucy, they're so different. Lucy is so emotional, and she's everything I was when I was little.
I was just going to say, did she get that from Tony? Or
yeah, it's a little bit more extreme. So she has just taught me to... Oh gosh, I can't even sum it up, man. God, what has Lucy taught me? Calvin has taught me just to have fun. I mean, that kid is just like a crazy roller coaster of awesomeness. He took us on quite a journey when he was between birth and 1. He had some kind of crazy things happen in his life, but he is just so much fun right now. And just to see the world through his eyes, everyone is a superhero. Dinosaurs are alive.
Yep.
And that, just seeing life through his eyes is a game changer. And then Lucy just wears her heart on her little sleeve. And last night is a perfect example of how to sum up Lucy. We were having a dance party in our living room. Calvin was kicking butt to that really cool Spider-Man song, the new Spider-Man. I don't know. Okay. Really cool song on there. Calvin was dancing. Lucy wanted to do it so bad. She gets so nervous and so embarrassed, and really have to not talk her into it, because you can't talk her into it, but just kind of push her. And probably after 45 minutes, she finally got out there and showed me a couple moves, and it just I was proud of her. But Lucy has definitely taught me patience. I have to have patience. I have to have patience with the emotions and the drama of a little girl, but I wouldn't change an ounce of her. I mean, she's an incredible little human being, and she has an amazing way of really looking at other people and not seeing any differences. And she's always been like that. We do this thing. She loves to look at the Go Shout Love kiddos that I capture right when I get back from a trip. That's what she wants to see. And I've kind of taught her words to say, and, things that our families have taught us.
Yeah, right.
So she always asks me what makes them awesome. And I love that she asks me that. And I just feel like and I think you would agree, as your kiddos get older too, having them see what we're doing and normalizing these incredible kids who deserve just to live every day like everyone else, it shifts their life, our children's lives too, because it's not anything different to them, because they're just seeing these awesome kids. And she just has a little heart of gold. So my kids are, they're awesome. I can't wait to see what this, I would say last one will be like, but I can't say that anymore. What this third one will be like.
Yeah.
It's going to be neat.
Yeah. What would you say to a 16-year-old girl that's trying to figure out life? You've gone through different types of challenges, and you kind of talked about that being part of the beauty in your story. Regardless of what they're interested in from a career or education standpoint, what would you say to them about finding their identity and being a woman?
I've had many conversations with many people about almost that exact question. And, I've talked about it before too. I think that the number one thing I would tell her is that you have to live a life that's led by empathy. And if you don't have empathy guiding you, you need to reassess your life and make sure that is one of the key factors. Because if you can't relate to what other people are going through, you're never going to grow, and you're never going to be impactful. And I feel like everyone needs to have a little part of their body saying, hey, how can I impact or be kind to someone today? Everyone needs to have that, and you can't have that without empathy. And if I could just blow that word up and plaster it everywhere I go to remind people that you have to think of what other people are going through or have gone through. I mean, just think about like politics, not even to get into that, but like if other people would just think about what other people have gone through and what they might be feeling and thinking, I mean, it would be a game changer.
Right.
It just lead with empathy and everything will fall into place. That would be my advice.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Jess, thanks so much for your time. You are such a blessing to me and to our whole family and to definitely our Go Shout Love families. And we would not be the same without you. And so we're thankful for your energy, your voice, and your
I've got a lot of energy.
ideas. And
we won't be re-recording this.
This is going live like in a week. So nothing, there will not be any other kids.
Lord.
Hopefully you're not moving.
No, we're all good.
Yep.
Okay, well, thank you so much for taking the time out to ask me some questions and learn more about me.
Yeah. Where can people, if they're not already, connect with you online?
Instagram is just Jessica Santo. Facebook's just Jessica Santo.
Santo.
No S on the end. Santo.
Right.
And then my website is jessicasanto.com. And I would find me if what I talked about at the beginning of the podcast triggers you to ask any questions about my life, or I'm an open book. I love to help people with whatever they've, got going on in their own lives. So shoot me a message, tell me hi, and all that good jazz.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Go Shout Love podcast. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes. We would also love for you to take just a minute and leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. This allows us to reach more people and invite them to join us in shouting love for kids on rare medical journeys. Remember to head over to our website, goshout.love, where any item purchased in September will help us meet the goal of a safe sleep bed for Evely. If you'd like to start a monthly t-shirt subscription to help kids like Evely every month, you can use the discount code podcast at checkout to get $5 off your first subscription order. Again, that's discount code podcast at checkout. Also, we'd love to connect with you on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Our handle for all of those platforms is simply @GoShoutLove. Thanks again for tuning in, and we will talk to you soon.